12:30 p.m. Eastern time match on Saturday. Crystal Palace coming off that late draw against Manchester United, hosting Newcastle. Crystal Palace sitting at plus 333. Newcastle minus 110 road favorite. The draw sitting at plus 240. I actually like the over in this match, but I'm going to kick it to you first. Do you think Crystal Palace can repeat the type of performance they had against United and maybe steal a point here against Newcastle?
Yeah, I would lean toward the under. I think this is a pretty similar handicap to what we just saw today between Palace and United. Palace sat deep, absorbed pressure. Newcastle this season in 0-0 game states has not taken a lot of chances. They've been very passive and kind of have scored a bunch from them. But we kind of saw it in the Fulham match where they created, in the end, 2 expected goals. But it took them a long time to really get going. And the first half was kind of dead. It was a lot of bad shots. There weren't a lot of good shots taken. So I think Palace is still pretty organized defensively. Chris Richards making his debut for the season and in the Prem today. I thought he had a really strong showing. And if you think about the United chances, they had, 10 shots and 1.1 expected in the first half. Only one real big chance, which was the goal. And then the second half, they did nothing. So I'm not so sure that Newcastle creates a ton here. I kind of disagree with you. And I lean toward the under here because I'm also just not inspired by this Palace attack that has looked really, really mediocre. Not getting any striker production. Wilf Zaha's on the wrong side of 30 now, and his dribbling numbers have gone down. So I'm a little bit skeptical of this Palace attack creating much too. So I kind of lean strongly to the under here, and it is juiced at, minus 140. So, hence the reason I'm not betting it. But I do think it's a little bit cheap.
Hence the reason why I like this over. And it's something I've said on the podcast, the past couple of weeks. It's just that Palace, when they have to play good competition, they have just been awful. Like today, they allowed over 2 expected goals to United. I understand.
I'm going to push back on that. I'm not sure about that FOTMOB number. I think that's wrong.
Okay.
Because they gave 0.8 on that Casemiro, or not Casemiro. It was somebody right in front of the goal had like got a toe on the ball in stoppage time, but it wasn't really a shot, but they counted it as a shot. And so this is like kind of the point about single game XG. I wanted to make this point anyway. They gave like 0.78 XG in FOTMOB, and then Infogol did too. And I was watching live and I'm like, when did United get that shot off? And it was the cross into the penalty area where it just kind of went through the whole box and like nobody really got a shot. So I'm kind of pushing back on that number.
Okay.
I thought it was a little closer to like 1.2, but either way.
Even before that, Anthony, Palace had allowed 13 expected goals in 7 matches versus the Big Six plus Newcastle. And if you remember this match the last time they absolutely stole a point on the road at St. James Park. It was a 0-0 draw that ended up being a very up and down type match. There were a total of 3.8 expected goals created, 2.8 from Newcastle, 1 from Crystal Palace. There was 32 shots taken, combined 70 penalty box touches between the two sides. So now we have a Newcastle offense that just has continued to get better and better as the season has progressed along. They have been pretty unlucky in front of net recently. Like they've scored 4 goals off of 7.4 expected in their last 4 Premier League matches out of the World Cup break, including 2.2 against Fulham this past weekend. And for the season, they're averaging 1.6 expected goals per 90, top 5 in shots, big scoring chances, passing the penalty area, and expected threat. And they just got Alexander Isak back, who has yet to play 3 full 90s and is already over a 1 XG per 90 minute strike. Already got 3 goals. So I think their attack's only going to get better and better. And you mentioned the 0-0 game state, which is very important because this over is basically dependent on that first goal going in, because Crystal Palace, when they are playing from behind this season, are allowing 2.18 expected goals per 90, and Newcastle, when playing with lead, are averaging 2.2 expected goals per 90. So once that first goal goes in, I think all hell is going to break loose. I do project 2.7 goals for this match, just because of given how high Newcastle's average XG is per 90. So I do like the value on over 2.5 goals at plus 120.